You ever stop and think about which creatures on this planet have really cracked the code on aging? Well, today we're diving deep into the animal kingdom to find the true champions of longevity. We're counting down the top 10 longest living animals, and trust me, some of these are going to blow your mind.
It's the question we all ask, right? While we're searching for answers, it turns out the natural world already has some pretty incredible examples. So what's their secret? Let's get into it.
All right, so first things first. In biology, there's this general rule of thumb. The bigger the animal, the longer it lives. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But as we're about to find out, nature absolutely loves to break its own rules.
So let's not waste any time. We're kicking off our countdown with a few animals that are already pushing the limits of what you might expect.
Starting us off at number 10.
It's the koi fish. Now, most koi will live a pretty good life, 15 to 50 years. But then you have the legend of Hanako, a fish in Japan that lived for an incredible 226 years. It just goes to show you that even inside one species, you can have these unbelievable outliers.
Sliding into the number 9 spot, we've got a creature that just flies in the face of what you'd think.
Meet the Brandt's bat. For a mammal this tiny, living to be 40 is just wild, especially when most other bats are lucky to get 10 or 20 years. So, this little guy is already starting to poke holes in our bigger is older rule.
And at number 8, we have an animal that fits our rule perfectly. The African elephant. These magnificent animals can live up to 70 years in the wild, which really proves that sometimes, size does matter. They're the classic example of a huge animal with a seriously long life. Okay, take a deep breath, because we are now officially leaving the sub-century club behind. From this point forward, every single animal on our list can live longer than a human.
This brings us into our next category, the true veterans of the animal kingdom. These are the creatures that have all crossed that 100-year mark.
Coming in hot at number 6, we've got another absolute heavyweight. The giant clam. You find these in warm tropical waters, and this thing is an absolute unit. It can weigh over 600 pounds and just hangs out for more than a century. A true underwater giant.
All right, next up at number 5 is one of the most famous old-timers on the entire planet.
Of course, it's the Galapagos tortoise. I mean, these guys are basically the poster children for old age, and for good reason. We have confirmed stories of them living well past 150 years old. It's like they're carrying generations of history right on their backs.
We're now entering the final tier. These aren't just veterans anymore. These are the ancient ones, Earth's oldest inhabitants. And the ages from here on out get seriously mind-bending.
And our number 4 spot is where things get really interesting.
The red sea urchin. This little spiny creature is our ultimate rule breaker. Living for 200 years, it doesn't just bend that size equals lifespan rule, it absolutely shatters it. It proves that the secrets to a long life are way more complicated than just being big.
Cracking our top 3, we're going back to the world of the giants.
The bowhead whale. This is the longest-lived mammal on Earth, period. With a lifespan of over 200 years, the oldest one we know of could have been born before the telephone was even invented. Just try to wrap your head around that for a second.
Okay, so this sets up a really cool comparison for our number 2 spot. Remember that 600-pound giant clam from earlier? Lives over 100 years. Pretty impressive. But now, look at the ocean quahog. It's way smaller, but it lives 4 times as long. This is the perfect example of why size definitely isn't everything.
And here it is, the ocean quahog. This little clam from the freezing depths of the North Atlantic can live for more than 400 years. It literally records centuries of history in the growth rings on its own shell. It's like a tiny living history book.
And that brings us to number 1, the undisputed champion of long life in the vertebrate world.
The Greenland shark. This animal cruises through the freezing, pitch-black waters of the Arctic, and it does so for centuries. With a lifespan that's estimated to be over 400 years old, it is by far the longest living vertebrate we know of.
And listen, this isn't just some wild guess. Scientists actually confirmed this using radiocarbon dating on the tissue in the shark's eyes, and that's how they estimated some are well over 400 years old. That's solid proof for a truly mind-blowing lifespan.
Which brings us all the way back to our original question. After seeing all these amazing animals, from tiny bats to giant sharks, what are the common threads here? What are the real secrets?
So what's the secret sauce? Well, it often boils down to a few key things:
specialized genetics, a super slow metabolism, and a lower heart rate. Basically, a lot of these ancient animals are just living life in the slow lane, conserving their energy for centuries.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we keep studying these incredible, ancient creatures, what other lessons about aging, about resilience, and about life itself is the natural world just waiting to teach us? Definitely something to think about.